This Perp back with another video, and I just got done watching Lovecraft Season 1, Episode 8. Wow, man, this episode was incredible, but before I get into this review, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and this will be a normal video, with visuals and whatnot, because it seems like people, prefer to watch my reviews with what I'm talking about. They want to see visuals and whatnot, so we're going to go back to that. I just wanted to kind of experiment and see how people actually felt about it. But well, we have a lot to talk about within this episode that premiered last night. But with all that being said, let's get right into it. So this was a Diane centric episode. Very, very heavy episode, man, because Emmett Till just got killed. So everybody's emotions are everywhere right now. Everybody's kind of on edge, especially Diane, because her friend died, and you really dive into her psyche throughout this episode. And she also gets exposed to magic, as one of the cops that we've seen before puts some type of spit, I guess is a spell, on her, and she has no idea what exactly happened, but she was kind of freaked out by this whole entire moment because it could have went left. They found her comic book, which was interesting, and they just kept asking her, what do you know about magic? What do you know about magic? And we'll get back to that very shortly, as everybody is looking for Diane. Leti runs into Gia. Now I got her name right. She was from episode 6, Atticus's first kind of lover, you could say. Things get awkward between those two. I'll get back to that very shortly, but we catch up with Atticus, and he meets up with Christina and ends up giving Christina the key, but in return Christina must show him a spell to kind of protect himself and whatnot. Also, we find out Christina's true motives and what she is up to, why she wants all these different items, and she pretty much just wants immortality, which makes sense, and she just wants absolute power. And you see Christina going through some different things throughout this episode, but it's interesting. Going back to Montrell and Deanne, Montrell tries to kind of reason or talk with Diane to figure out what's going on, and then weird things start to happen as this book on this bookshelf starts to change, and it just turns into something horrific, and she takes off running once again. We'll get back into that very shortly. Now back at Christina's house, we are met with Ruby, and tensions are kind of brewing everywhere, and she almost gets herself into a little bit of a situation, and you see her frustrations with everything that's going on, and she wants Christina to feel the same way. And this was a really powerful scene to me. I really can appreciate it, but then it goes into something later on into this episode, which I will get right back to. But she just feels some type of way that Christina could just walk around not having a care in the world, and she doesn't care. She literally lets her know that she does not care. All she cares about is her power and what she can do. Very interesting stuff. But so while Diane is getting chased by these creatures, or with demons, I guess you could say, they seem like creatures out of the movie Us. That really gives me the feel. That shit was creepy as hell. While that's going on, Atticus has to deal with things at home, as Gia pretty much explains to Leti what exactly is going on and who she is, and Letty's not having it at all, bro. She feels some type of way, which I don't blame her. Letty's more upset that Atticus never told her about this life and just this person, and she comes bearing bad news about, Tick's death, and this kind of frustrates Tick and just pretty much crushes her soul and tells her to get the fuck out of here. And this scene right here is reminiscent of, if anybody has seen The Leftovers season 3, there's a scene, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a scene just similar to this. But yeah, this was an amazing scene by Journey Smollett and Jonathan Majors. They were fucking amazing throughout this whole entire episode, bro. Like, I felt their pain, bro. I felt their emotions, bro. That was really dope. These two they deserve an Emmy for this performance, just this episode alone. But as they kind of part ways temporarily, Leti runs into Diane, and Diane's obviously scared out of her mind, and Leti just doesn't give a fuck right now. She just wants to kind of get away from the house for a moment. Now Tick runs into his father, and they kind of have a heart-to-heart moment, because last episode things weren't as smooth. He still kind of feels some type of way, but thank God they were able to kind of put their bullshit aside, and we find out what Tick saw when he went through the portal. He actually went to the future and saw that his son wrote this book called Lovecraft Country, and this is where things get so interesting to me, and where things are starting to connect. But before we get into that stuff, we get back to Leti, and she's at this church trying to pray, and she is greeted by Christina, and with emotions going everywhere with all these different characters, she just wants Atticus to be okay. She wants Atticus to be protected. And it was in this moment she was about to give the pages to Christina, because she wants her to put like an invulnerable shield or an invulnerability spell on Atticus, but she says, no, I'll give it to you. And now Leti pretty much has the invulnerability thing, and that comes into play a little bit later as we get back to Atticus and Montrell, and Atticus tells Montrell, I read the book, I see kind of the future things are kind of changed, certain characters are kind of changed, but he talks about this hooded person, this person with a hood that gives, with a robotic arm that gives Atticus this book and pushes him through the portal, which I feel like is Diane, and I'll give you my theories on why towards the end of this episode. But essentially, he knows now that he has a son in the future, which is very interesting. I'm wondering if we're going to ever get there. Atticus tries to do a spell, and it doesn't seem to work, so maybe Christina pretty much played him. Who knows? We're just going to wait and see. Speaking of Christina, this scene was fucking brutal to watch. She wanted to experience what Emmett Till went through, and which there's no way to really grasp that feeling, because she is kind of invulnerable to death in a way, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know where that's gonna go with Christina, if we're gonna see a different side of her, but this is interesting to me. While that's going on, we head back to Leti's house, and we get this scene with her and Ruby, which was really interesting, where Ruby lets her know pretty much like, yeah, I know everything about magic. I know about Christina and how William is Christina. And Leti tries to warn her like, yo, she is playing you, bro. She tried to do the same thing to me. So now cops are surrounded the house because of Diane. I forgot to pretty much talk about that. Like, Diane pulled up to the cops' place, like the one lodge, and tries to confront the cop and really just like says fuck him pretty much, and he puts that spell on her, and decides to go about it the other way and just go to Letty's house directly. And he's not able to enter the house because of the spell that's put on the house, which leads them to light up the fucking crib. This gives Letty the idea, because she has that spell on her, that she can't really be phased by these bullets. But before I get into what happens next, let's go back over to Diane, and she becomes more aware of her surroundings, and she wants to fight back, and she is fed up, and she comes up with her own plan. Montrell is able to come in just in the nick of time, and this is where my whole theory of the whole person with the robotic arm, because they had some foreshadowing of her possibly losing that arm. Interesting stuff, right? So now we get to the end of the episode where Tick walks back towards the house and hears gunshots, and he is surrounded by just cops aiming guns at him, and he's about to get lit the fuck up. And in just the nick of time, one of Christina's monsters or whatever comes out and saves the day. This episode was fucking incredible from start to finish. I can't wait for these next few episodes, but what do you guys feel about it? Let me know in the comments below. Till next time, I'm out.